CORA, Committee of Relevant Arts, and Roving combined together to host one of Africa's most brilliant poets, dramatists, and literary critic, Professor Niyi Osundare. He has a new book out. He did a book signing and a reading, and we were there. Enjoy this.
In its quest to promote arts and culture in Nigeria, the Committee for Relevant Arts, CORA, has held its first book reading session in 2022. CORA, in collaboration with Roving, holds reading sessions every month as an avenue for authors and members of the public to engage.
Author of over 18 collections of poetry and books of essay.
In this session, celebrated Nigerian poet, dramatist, literary critic, essayist, and columnist Professor Niyi Osundare reads from two of his books, which are collections of poems.
CORA has made sure that
Professor Osundare, a normal award winner, has authored 18 books of poetry, 2 books of selected poems with individual poems in over 70 journals and magazines across the world. The Prof started his reading session from his book Snapsongs, Homegrowns and Foreign Flares.
Wonderland, 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 Akim Akewi, are you listening? 100 million naira vanished from the government coffers. They say a snake swallowed it with its evening meal. Aramunda. Oh, really? The governor wailed, his hands in the air. My security vote was stolen by bandits of unknown origin. The senator, eminently distinguished and right honorable, lost his constituency allowance between Abuja and his penury-ravished constituency. The Senate King, his crown askew, sent the hallowed house on compulsory holiday. He locked up the country's red chamber and threw the key into his ocean of infamy. In this land of miracles, or as we say, miracles, our cars are fueled by gallons of prayers. Our pastor's car once drove 100 miles on an empty but faithful tank. Aramunda. The moon dropped from the sky, sauntered silently through the broken stairs of the stars, while the sky moaned like a stricken bull.
Snapsongs addresses the usual problems of the place where Professor Osundare regarded as his much-beloved but groaning homeland. He turns his attention to his most recent poetry collection, Green.
We bleed one cut, all the trees. We are the trees of the world. We are the trees of life. We laugh, we cry, we whisper, we shout. We breathe, we brood, we breathe. We carry the planet in our careful hands, a tender burden, a historic task. The loom and latch of a naked world. We robe the earth in our green embrace. Hour by hour, we lose our kin to waste, to war, and the senseless blaze. A careless axe, a haughty chainsaw, and the cannibal greed of the rich and strong. Behold the spider monkey, the spectacled bear, butterflies of the forest crabs, the eloquent parrot, sagacious owl, the cool canopy, and the traveling roots. A tree never falls alone in the forest. It takes our future with its thrashing leaves. The blind gold digger, the reckless farmer. Subject your greed to the need of all. We are the trees of the world. We are the trees of life. Pears from the past, flowers of the future. We burn when ignited. We bleed when cut. We are the vital lobe of the lungs of the planet.
One of the organizers explains why Professor Osundare was chosen for the first session of the year.
He's a very, very talented, very simple, elegant poet. You know, he's essentially the creator of what you call the songs of the marketplace. Those kind of poems that, are lyrical, are at the same time very simple. Those poems that you read in school that are so, so convoluted, they're not, it's when people like Osundare started to write that you found that, so poetry can actually speak in this way. It doesn't have to be some mangled thing that you then begin to say, what has he said, CORA has been a follower of Osundare.
The guests present also voiced their thoughts on the author and the books he read from.
The book covers quite a wide range of subjects, from environmentalism to the issue of poor governance, alienation, dislocation. It's quite a potpourri, but he writes with a sense of community and with sense of the earth, and which means that he's a connected poet. So that is what you see with him. Some people call him the poet of the people. I don't always think so, because sometimes it can be also difficult to understand. It can be a little elliptical in certain areas, but generally he's a poet of conscience. He's a poet of community who tries to understand the dynamics. And sometimes his poetry verges into journalism, which is also refreshing. Sometimes it dilutes it a bit, but sometimes it's actually refreshing when you read it for the moment.
The fact that he's a poet and he's very anti-government, that was very interesting to me. He's a professor, he's a poet, and he's anti-government. I always thought that the people that are anti-government are always the musicians or the writers. But the fact that he's a poet, and the fact that he kind of explained himself, and he explained what the problem that we're facing in the country is, that was just amazing.
While listening, I actually was overwhelmed with a lot of inspirations. It's good to know that Professor Niyi Osundare is a poet that pays rapt attention to the environment, and is an environmentalist actually, and has been a lot of inspiration to me personally.
The event ends with a book signing by the guest author.